Hello and welcome back to Listen to This, a podcast about music, for music, and everything in between. I'm Danny.
And I'm Alex.
And we're back with episode 4, where we're talking about music videos. I hate that you're laughing at already.
So, this is our first time recording again after having gone live. Quite sincerely here. We actually had a pretty good turnout for an out-of-the-blue podcast about something that already has 1 billion podcasts focused on it. So we do very much appreciate the support. That was kind of unreal. In less than 2 weeks, we got almost 100 likes on Facebook. We got dozens of listens on that first episode. It's been kind of incredible. But as such, now that we know people listen, there's a little bit more pressure, and we're already self-conscious about things, like our openings.
We have plans, though. We have plans on how to make it better.
It's more real to me now, I guess.
It was kind of funny, too. After the first episode came out, I went back into, like, my hometown kind of group chat that we have with all my friends. And they were all listening to it, and they were doing, like, play-by-play comments as they're going, so I knew exactly where they were in the episode. And
really?
I'm like, oh my god, I'm never gonna live this down. But it was funny. It was cool to see everybody supporting us and talking about it and, like, coming back and giving us critiques on how to get better and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see, like, everybody's willing to chip in a bit. Yeah,
and we already have fake spam bots sending us messages on Facebook. So
that's
how you know we've made it. Yeah, we have got like 3 links to things. I don't know.
That's when you know you've made it.
That's how you know you're big.
Oh, man.
But before we get into all the main episode topics and stuff, Danny, have you been listening to any new music since we last spoke?
I have.
Wow.
Well, since it's quarantine and there's truly nothing else to do besides surf YouTube and the internet, I've been actually listening to old Pussycat Dolls again.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. I was, like, super bored, and I was at my parents' house, and I was trying to clean my room, and I found the stash of all of my old CDs. Listening to it on Spotify, and I found the old Pussycat Dolls thing, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like, I remember this, and yeah. What song was I stuck on?
What was their big song? Was there
Don't Ya? Yeah. And When I Grow Up.
Oh, that was them, that's right, okay. Mm-hmm. Mayday Parade covered that.
And, like, Buttons was another really, like, low-key popular one. I was way too young to be listening to that song when it came out. But now that I'm older and I'm like, oh, man, okay. But,
whereas Don't Ya, that's just good, clean family fun right there.
Okay, when you're a kid, you don't know what you're dancing to. It's catchy, and that's what they're really good at, was making really good, catchy pop songs. So, I know there's going to be a delay in when we record this and then when it comes out, which is mostly the case just because we want to make sure we have content to get out on time. Mm-hmm. But before we were talking about Palais Royale's new album, The Bastards. Yeah. So, that has a release date for May 29th. So, I don't know.
And that hasn't changed at all?
Nope. Okay. It's still coming out. The only thing that's changed for them is pretty much their tour dates, but that's everybody, so that's going to be really awkward when everyone's trying to reschedule over. But we're going to see how that plays out. And then another new release has been Archers. It's a local band from Wisconsin. I've been following them for a little bit, but they just released a new album called The New Normal. So they wrote it like 2 or 3 months ago, I think, I was told, and then scheduled it to come out around this time. So they didn't change the release date, but oh man, was that just a perfect title for all of this, because you're right, it does hit the nail on the head a little bit.
But how was the album?
I like it. Black Lung was the first song I ever heard from them, and I heard them play it live, and it was a really cool song. Plus they do really cool covers of, like, Close to Me, which is an Ellie Goulding song that was super big on the radio, and then The Hills from The Weeknd.
Okay.
Their cover of that is better than the original song, and I even got my mom to say it, and she doesn't like my music.
This is a rock band, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a little bit of screaming in it, but they just do such a good job with the covers, and then they do a really good job with the storylines in their album, so I really like them. In my opinion, they're kind of similar to Beartooth. So, so if people like Beartooth, they're a very similar band in terms of sound quality.
And this was a full album, it wasn't an EP?
It's a full album, but there's only like 4 or 5 songs on it.
Okay.
So they have a very good sound to them. Otherwise, I have some new songs. Halsey came out with a new song.
Halsey, that name sounds familiar.
Kelsey Ballerini teamed up with Halsey to release a song, The Other Girl. And it's like story in between these two girls trying to figure out which one has been cheated on.
Is this like by the same guy? They're trying to figure out who's the girlfriend and who's the mistress?
Yes. They can't tell. So they the whole song sets up with them being like, oh, that girl's so pretty. She has everything put together. Was he dating her first? Am I the other girl? And the other girl's looking at her being like, she has all of her goals ahead of her. She's, on track. She's driven. She has like all these great personality traits. Am I the other girl? So they're trying to figure out who among them is the other girl and kind of coming to terms with, am I the mistress?
I really hope the song ends by realizing that he's the scumbag and they're both the other girl because, whatever.
But, I mean, and it's interesting, too, because they've paired up before. They've done a duet with Graveyard. When Halsey did the CMA, she did Graveyard with Lady Antebellum, and then she later did another version of it with Kelsey Ballerini.
I've never even heard of Kelsey before, I don't think.
She's done I Miss Me More. That's a popular country song by her.
Okay,
Please don't make me sing it.
Yeah, no. I actually know that one.
Yeah. So that's her, and then she was on the Chainsmokers track for This Feeling.
I don't know that song.
But other than that, Bad Bunny released a new song, Yo Pero Sola. It's a great song, great message behind it, cool music video. Like, it's so aesthetically pleasing, and Bad Bunny dresses in drag, and he pulls it off so well, and I'm jealous as shit, so whatever, it's fine. Seriously, like, he had this wig on, and his makeup is all done, and honestly, he looks like two different people. Now I understand why guys are like, you look different with makeup on. Like, I understand it now, because I'm like, damn, boy. But, two other honorable mentions. Through Glass by Hands Like Houses. They're an Australian band that I found through Warped Tour. I found them on the song I Am. Love that song. This song was recommended to me, and so I started listening to it, and it's the cutest love song, and it's super catchy. I'm an Anti-Socialist by Asking Alexandria. It's a single from their upcoming album Like a House on Fire that comes out May 15th. It's a little bit different from the Asking Alexandria we probably knew in high school. They went down the more, like, hard rock path and the, like, metal side, I guess, if you want to put labels on that genre. But I like it. It still has a catchy beat. It's still super interesting, and it works for quarantine right now because it's all about just hating people. So I'm like, yeah, why not?
Okay.
It's a good song to put on and clean the house, too, for the upteenth time that I've done it, so...
I actually know Hands Like Houses. I know their song I Am. Like, if it was played, I'd probably be able to recognize it pretty quickly. But the only song by them that I actively know was their cover of Natalie Imbruglia's Torn for Punk Goes 90s Volume 2. I think it was 2.
I think you're right, because I know that version too. Yeah. As well.
And I didn't know they were Australian until, like, the last or second to last line in the song or something like that. There's one line in their cover that his accent just shines through. Like, it's like blatantly like, so, or whatever. Like, okay.
Okay. I did not know they were Australian until I saw them accidentally at Warped Tour. I was with a group of friends. We were coming from one set to another set, and we're like, it was on a shared stage. So we got in, and I immediately recognized the song I Am, and I'm like, I love this song. We have to, like, go on this side. I want to listen to it. My friends are like, all right. And
okay.
Oh, man. They played really well live. I really like that song live. But then he stopped me and goes, oh, thank you. And I'm like, oh,
thank you.
Okay.
Surprise.
Didn't see that coming.
Surprise. Anything else?
No, that's it for now. I'll have some more later. Otherwise, it's just the same old, I've been getting back into All Time Low again.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Well, I liked their song. I was gonna say recently, but I think it's from like 2015. Their song "Bail Me Out" from one of their albums that had Joel Madden on it.
Yes.
From Good Charlotte. I like that song a lot.
I've been listening to Drugs and Candy, and then Life of the Party. Sorry, Life of the Party. I didn't even have to look it up. I just had to keep playing the song in my head. But Drugs and Candy and Life of the Party I've been stuck listening to again. I don't know why.
Do you know about Alex, the lead singer? He has a side project with Mark Hoppus from Blink-182, Simple Creatures.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've I don't think it's an LP, I think it's an EP, but they have a song on there, Adrenaline, that's really good. It's a really unique song, a really unique sound. It's pop rock, I guess. Like,
it's kind of what I imagine Alex and
Mark would do.
Yeah, honestly.
After hearing you talk about Lana Del Rey, and then another friend talking about how Norman fucking Rockwell was one of her favorite albums, I'm like, okay, I'll actually listen more to Lana. I'll try to give her a shot. And I actually found quite a few songs I like off of the NFR album, like Bartender, Cinnamon Girl, Venice Bitch, I think was probably the biggest one from that album, from what I've gathered.
God, I love Lana Del Rey. Just besides her music, her aesthetic and the way she names things is just so amazing to me.
I also,
I swear to God.
I also for the first time listened to Dance Gavin Dance, and
I've been listening to them for the past 3 days.
Yeah, like it was a name I'd always heard, but I was like, but then I watched something that brought up how like almost obsessive the fan base is with them. Like, you can't say anything bad about Dance Gavin Dance, or they will destroy you. So I listened to one of their earlier albums, Downtown Battle Mountain. That's the one that has like, and I told them I invented Times New Roman, and then my favorite song after that's probably Antlion. But I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. I'm glad I finally took the time to listen to them. But the big thing that I was going to talk about by way of new music.
Oh no, I don't like this grin you have.
Do you remember how last episode I mentioned 100 Gex?
Yeah.
And Money Machine?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I heard some other songs on the album, but none of them really impressed me. They were just kind of whatever. Danny, I think I might be a 100 Gex fan now.
I knew it!
Because there are actually other songs on the album that are legitimately well made. Now, from every song I've listened to, the ending is still just noise. Like, different kinds of noise. Like from Money Machine, just kind of like a weird, scrapey white noise.
Yeah.
From their song 745 Sticky, it's kind of like a dubstep nature kind of noise. And then from Gek to You, it's like the song keeps the BPM keeps speeding up and speeding up to the point where you're like, nobody could actually dance to this. It is too fast. You'd have to go in like halftime or whatever to dance to it. But the thing is, they're actually well made. And like, Money Machine is a silly kind of stupid song lyrically.
I've been listening to that let me try that again. Okay. I've been listening to it a lot, not gonna lie, and then I sent it to my friend who we send all kinds of songs back and forth to each other. He's like my main like music well.
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to listen to this, and he goes, not you too.
Oh, you already knew about him.
He knew about him. I was like, yes, okay.
But like their other songs are actually, you know, like, still lighthearted, but they actually are saying something lyrically, which is like unique, not unique, but unexpected coming from the people who made Money Machine.
It's such a catchy song.
But I got some of my friends into it as well, and then even when I was at work the other day, I began just talking to the guys about, so there's this band 100 Gex, and honestly what they were focused more on is what kind of unit of measurement is a Gek, and why are there 100 of them? How much is a Gek worth, kind of thing. But no, I've slowly been spreading the gospel according to Gek. So.
Oh my god. Well, if you want to hear something funny too, I have a song that I need to show you when we're done with this, and I just heard it like 2 days ago, and it was Sriracha by Baby No Money.
I don't know any of those words.
It's very similar in feeling to 100 Gex, where it's kind of silly, but it's so beachy vibe and so bizarre that like, you can kind of picture yourself like listening to it on a beach, but parents are walking by and giving you like a really weird, dirty look kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
And it's really catchy, and it's good lyrically too. Like, not that it has a big message or meaning behind it, but it's
Sriracha. Okay.
I'll have to show you the song.
So, getting into this for real. Let's talk music videos. Now, I know that we constantly say that we're just enthusiasts and we're amateurs, but I actually have a slight formal education on music videos because I took a class one time. I think I got like a C in the class, so and that means I'm pretty knowledgeable on this. For a film class I took in college, I actually did take music video production, and that was mostly about what you would expect, the production of a music video. But the one thing that I really took... Really? I know, if I'm going too fast here, I can slow down. But one thing that I really took away was just kind of the way you can generalize music videos into 3 different categories. Now, for the life of me, I can't fully confirm if the third one is correct, but I'm pretty damn confident it is. But the first two I know. One is a performance music video, just the band playing. Another is a narrative-based one where there's a story. If you were to mute the video, you could still see a story playing out visually, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then the third, I'm pretty sure, was abstraction. So performance, you can see that almost anywhere. And oftentimes, performance and narrative are put together. Well, they'll go from clips of the band playing to a completely separate story, not related to what the band's doing. An abstract one would be something along the lines of like A Day to Remember's Right Back at It Again, mm-hmm. where just kind of like wacky, silly things or whatever.
I was kind of thinking of Bring Me the Horizon, Sugar, Honey, Ice, and Tea, because that's just a trip.
Is it?
Yeah.
You could argue that a mixture of performance and abstraction would be Gautier's Somebody I Used to Know, because that's just kind of weird, but he's also singing, he is performing it, so it's whatever. But the music video that got me, so I actively remember before YouTube was a thing. Back
you
in
were alive back then?
I know,
that
right?
Was a thing?
I have nowhere to go with that joke. There was a place I went to listen to music videos that I got from my brother and his friends or whatever. So, like in the year 2002, we'd go to AOL Live,
oh my God, dinosaur.
Which had select music videos on it. That was the first time I ever saw Usher's "Yeah" music video, and there's a bunch of stuff like that. But so I definitely do have knowledge of older music videos, and one I actually will bring up, which I appreciated in retrospect. But the music video that initially got me to look at them and notice these are actually interesting, they're pieces of art on their own or whatever, was from a Nickelback song. Their video for Savin' Me actually was the one that got me to notice, like, this is actually interesting, where it's slight performance, but there's also a story going on of one day a guy is walking down the street and his life gets saved. Like I think a guy pulls him back as something falls on top of his car or whatever and crushes it. And then as the savior walks away, the main character begins seeing numbers on top of everybody's head, and they're all counting down. Some of them are like in the millions, some are in the tens of thousands. And he begins wondering, like, what is all this? At one point he goes up to a stranger and just waves his hand in front of her on top of her head, and she's like, what the fuck? But he doesn't understand what they mean. Until he's walking along and comes by an ambulance, and there's an old guy in a gurney being put in, and he sees the number go down from like 10, it goes all the way down to 0. So he realizes that it's a life clock. He can see how much time people have to live. And as the song goes on, he sees one lady who seems fine. She's like on her phone walking along, and her clock's about to go down. And I think maybe she was like walking out into the street or something like that. And he pulls her back and he saves her or whatever. Then all of a sudden he looks up and then the numbers are gone, but it goes from her perspective, and she looks back at him, and now she sees the numbers everywhere. Like almost like it's like a curse it's a curse or a gift, depending on how you look at it. And as soon as you use it, you save someone, it passes on to them.
It's like a pay it forward type of thing.
Yeah.
Nickelback, actually, I don't care how much flack I get for this. I actually really like Nickelback. I remember growing up and listening to their songs. They were always on the radio.
I like Nickelback.
And when MTV had music videos back in the day.
You were alive back then?
I was, yeah. I don't remember. I was young. I don't remember many music videos, but I do remember they played the music video for Far Away. And I don't remember.
With the firefighters?
Yeah, I don't remember much of it. I just remember that it had the firefighter and stuff, and where they pull up and like.
And at first he's not there, and the wife looks terrified, like, did he die?
Yeah, like, that hit me right in the feels. Like, that's such a good song, and they did such a good job with the storyline for it. Like, none of them felt, I mean, they all kind of felt a little Lifetime or, like, Hallmarky, but not to the point where it got cheesy. It was all, like, very well paired with the song that they put with it.
Their song "Gotta Be Somebody" is one of I put it in my top 20 songs of all time. I love "Gotta Be Somebody," and then their song "Bottoms Up" is a good party song.
It is. Well, also Rockstar. Everybody's shitting on Nickelback, forgetting that they were in like middle school, high school, whatever, jamming out to Rockstar. Like, pull it back, guys. We all know you did it. It's fine.
I was actually never a huge fan of the song though, just because I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah,
well, but I mean, melodically, lyrically, it's fun. It's a funny song. The song I think that the song I actually wrote down next, the music video I wrote down next is so I'm not much of a country guy. I definitely like some certain songs in the genre, but I can never consider myself a huge fan. I'm by no means an authority on it. But do you know the singer Martina McBride?
Mm-hmm.
She had like this one's for the girls, Independence Day and stuff. Her video for her song Concrete Angel is a very, very touching one. It definitely has that early 2000s vibe. I think it was like 2002 or something like that. But the song is about child abuse. It's about a girl who's being beaten by her mom, who's crazy. Like, it doesn't say why, but she beats her daughter, and like people and teachers notice bruises, but they don't get involved. Like, they can't say anything for certain, so they don't get involved. Then one night, the mom beats her to death, and she dies. And the whole Concrete Angel is she's a good kid who's going to a good place, but she has to act hard as stone to survive until she gets beaten to death. The music video shows all that stuff, but then there's also a boy in the story who you kind of, at the end of the video, you realize was something like a guardian angel for her. Like, the one friend she had in school. Then he was at her funeral, but then he kind of begins like phasing through people and goes and meets up with her spirit ghost or whatever. Then he takes her to play with a bunch of other kids who we can assume were also abused or something like that, but they're happy now. But so that was when I saw when I was younger, and I processed all the information, and I was like, okay, I understand that. But then when I got older and I began to really think about it, I'm like, that's actually a very, very sweet video. Like, it's a very tragic song, but it was a nice video.
Oh man. One that I have that's similar in feeling to that one is by These Fading Visions, also a local Milwaukee band. They came out with a music video for Prove Me Wrong. First off, great song, really liked it. One of my favorites from that they put out. But the story for it is this boy who's like abused at home, bullied at school, shit like that. He's up on one of the Milwaukee buildings, like really high up, and he's sitting there like gripping the railing, and you're kind of like, oh crap, he's gonna jump. The whole thing is kind of like what he's going through, and like there's kind of like a hopeless sort of feeling to it. And the kid who plays the main boy in this does it so well, because there's a scene where like his dad is banging on the door trying to get into his room, and he's trying to block the door, so he's sitting in front of it, and he pulls his beanie down and he just covers his face, and there's just such a hopeless feeling in it that I'm like, I get teary every time I see it, and I try not to, but it hits you by the end. You kind of see the hope sort of returning to him and being like, it's not like the situation's fixed and over with, but it's we can work toward doing something better. We can work towards fixing this sort of thing. Okay. I might be interpreting it different than the band wants, so hey guys, let me know. But like that's kind of what I got out of it, and I think that's why I like the song so much, because as dark and as low points as the music sounds and the music video shows, like by the end of it, you kind of have this glimmer of hope, like things can change. It might not be instant, but things can get better.
And this is the start of things getting better. Okay. Well, that's actually a very nice message then. This next video I'm going to talk about. It is going to be a very, very brief one. When I was 13, I discovered the band Zebrahead, and they were my favorite band for almost a decade. Like,
that sounds super familiar.
I've probably talked about them before. I have every one of their albums except for their newest EP that got released recently. But they were my favorite band, and when I had discovered them, their music video for their song "The Juggernauts" just came out. It was released in January, but it was filmed at it's filmed at a pool. It's basically a performance piece with young kids in the background. And in the description of the video, they even say it was freezing cold to make this kind of thing, but they wanted to give it a summer feel and stuff. And that was just important to me because that band would become so important for me in the years that would follow. And that was the first music videos I saw there because it had been released like 2 weeks before I had discovered them. The band is actually probably most well known for being for singing the main song for one of the Sonic the Hedgehog games. Yes. But they're an actual. It's also for objectively the worst Sonic game, Sonic 06. But anyway, yeah. So it's just a music video that isn't particularly remarkable. Towards the end, the band throws all their instruments into the pool, and the guitarists and stuff are like playing under the water and whatever. It's just punk rock stuff. But it was kind of surprising because that's one of their slowest songs. Not slowest tempo, but slowest tone and themes and stuff.
I'm pretty much just going off of the songs that you got, because one that I have too that's kind of similar to that feel is actually East Side. So this is a...
the Halsey Khalid song?
Yeah.
Benny Blanco,
yeah.
I guess.
So the song's like pretty good. Like, it's a pop song. It got super popular for a while, so I know that kind of turned a lot of people off to it because it was played so regularly. But I heard it every day when I was on spring break in Florida, way back when you could do that. Sorry.
Time long gone.
I'm going to keep taking these shots while I can. What's a really cool thing for the song is the music video, and it's kind of just laid out where it's like, this is Benny Blanco. He likes food. He likes basketball. But
there's actually text on the screen saying these things.
I'm not even kidding. It's like the old like WordPress fonts in like yellow, and it's like, this is like where Khalid grew up. This is what Khalid does. This is Halsey. She makes music too.
No, they call her Ashley in the video. They don't call her Halsey, they call her Ashley.
Sweet, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, right? I know the video.
Cool, okay.
I like the song a lot.
I do too. I really do like the song. Like, I'm kind of sad that they overplayed it so much, so I don't really listen to it that often. But, like, the music video is just so wholesome and so nostalgic. And it, like, shows where Ashley went to school. It kind of shows, like...
We should call her out there. I was totally just trying to give you shit. I was going to go into a joke where, do you even know who Halsey is? Am I a bigger fan than you? But anyway.
Ashley Frangipane grew up in New Jersey.
Does he pronounce her last name? Okay.
Frangipane, something to that effect. I'm probably massacring it, but that's my Midwest accent. I'm sorry, Halsey.
I'm sorry, Chelsea.
I'm
never going to let that die.
You're never going to let that die. I know. But...
anyway.
Sort of back on track. But, like... It's a really good background on the artists and kind of humanizes them more, and it...
Like character piece, almost.
Yeah, it's a very humanist piece, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. The next video I have listed here is for Dermot Kennedy's Lost. I talked about Dermot in the 2019, the first episode, because his album Without Fear was my favorite of 2019. He had released the single Lost. The album had come out in September or August. I honestly don't remember which anymore. But Lost had been released as a single months before. And then the music video came out a few months later, and it caught me a little off guard because the video is Dermot walking through the streets, and then there's three stories going on in the background. One is a new couple who just discovers that she's pregnant. One is a single father of three. And then one is family, mom, dad, son. Or son, daughter? I honestly don't remember. A three-piece family, though.
I remember when you showed me this, and it was a really good music video.
I just remembered that I showed you. I forgot I showed you.
Yeah, I remember. It was like right after that, you're like, I need to show you this. And it was so well put together. But
what really stood out is that the first verse of the song, it isn't the actual studio recording. It is just him singing a cappella as he walks through the streets. There's the ambient noises of cars going by. You hear like quiet chatter in the background and stuff like that, and it isn't until it gets to the second verse that the actual studio recorded version kicks in. He does a whole verse and first chorus just on his own walking through the streets, which is really cool. It does have a kind of cliched ending where you discover, so the three stories, new couple's pregnant, they kind of embrace it and realize we're gonna be a real family now kind of thing, and they're really happy about it. The single dad with three kids is worrying about paying bills and stuff, and his kids see that he's having a hard time, so they just want to distract him and have him smile for a bit. And the family, the three-piece family, I don't really remember what their hardship is, but I just remember that their coming to terms with things was they all sat down and had a family dinner and were just enjoying each other's company. But then it had the cliched ending of they all live in the same building, and then Dermot, you discover he's walking through town to get to the building because that's where he lives too, kind of thing. So it wasn't like a mind-blowingly original idea, except for the a cappella part, but it was very touching and sweet. It's a good video.
So this one is going to take a small turn into even more depressing land, in my opinion. Just because I love Rise Against. They were like the first band that I kind of listened to where I was just like, I don't know. It really solidified the fact that I liked that genre.
Suffer and the Witness is one of my favorite albums.
It's funny because I don't know them by their albums. I know them by like, I follow like the best of sort of thing.
Okay.
And I know them by their album covers, but I could not tell you.
It's the white album that has like a weird like sketch.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. See, that's how I like go off of. But Help Is on the Way. So I was watching this with Mal because we were watching What? I can't remember.
Gotta be a Hurricane Katrina thing.
Oh, it is a Hurricane Katrina thing. I think Mal and I started watching Rise Against music video for Forever Refugee. That's what it was.
That's a great song, too.
It is so
that
good.
whole album, anyway. But
their music videos are so good, too, because each one is just so well put together. Like, the message behind it, most of them are political, but they're so well put together that you kind of have no choice but to, like, kind of challenge how you think about things. Because...
Prayer of the Refugee was just weird for me, seeing Tim with long hair. I'm used to having like a short buzz
yeah,
kind of
seriously.
thing. What are you doing? Okay.
What are you doing?
But Help Is On The Way is from their album Endgame.
And that one does focus on Hurricane Katrina. I don't know if it was right after when that came out or where in the timeline that this was all put together. But there was a relief fund for Hurricane Katrina at the end. So, like their main message was about the hurricane and the relief efforts. Mm-hmm. But it focuses on this African-American family that they're like chilling on the roof trying to get any sort of help they can get. But by the time they're on the roof, like the attic is starting to fill up. So the mom's just filling her arms with all kinds of like photo albums, like journals, history about their family. Mm-hmm. And she's like clutching these frames and the pictures, and they get up to the top. And the little boy and the little girl are kind of like not playing around, but they're kind of just making use of their space. You see like crocodiles or alligators. I don't know what's down there.
Whatever they have.
The big serpent that chomps very hard is in the water.
As the scientists call it, yeah.
And one's swimming kind of by the boy, and it like startles him enough that he falls into the water. Jeez. And in this mad scramble to get this boy up, the mom loses all of her stuff. It all falls into the water. All of the journals, the books, the pictures fall in the water. But they get the boy back. And so it's kind of like this weird sacrifice that you have to see between this family to save one of their own now or lose their history again. And it's one of the reasons I love Rise Against, because they just have such a good story to each one of their songs. Like, have you seen, what's it? Oh, Make It Stop.
Yeah, so I've actually listened to the whole album, but I have not seen any of the music videos, not even for Satellite. So,
really?
So yeah, I know this.
Either.
So when you say the songs, I know the songs, but the stories are new to me when you're describing them.
Yeah, Make It Stop is super good. It's nowadays it's kind of the trope, but they were the first band to kind of come out and say like violence against the LGBT needs to stop, sort of thing, because these kids are killing themselves. And like in the middle of the song, it's the lead singer just sitting at this kid's desk reading off a list of names and saying their age, and like I think the youngest kid who like killed himself is 13.
13, yeah, I believe.
That song just gives you chills, and then you watch the music video, and at the end it has a lot of people saying after like it gets better. Like after high school, after whatever period you're going through, it's going to get better.
Prayer in the Refugee, that's a sad song. Mm-hmm. Survive is my favorite from that same album.
I'm trying to think of the one I really like.
I mean, their big one is Savior. Mm-hmm. See, that's when she said I Don't Hate You. Siren Song of the Counterculture, that was a really good early album of theirs.
There's one I found again that I like know them because I've heard the songs.
Audience
Good
of
Left
One?
Undone.
I've seen that name before, but I've never heard the song.
I'm not singing it, but I'll show you it after this. But it's one of my favorites that I lost for a while, then I found again, and I'm super happy.
Do you know their song Audience of One? Mm-mm. That was probably their second biggest hit after Savior until Satellite came along. But that has a line in it that I really like. The chorus is, "We ran away, now all my friends are gone. Maybe we've outgrown all the things that we once loved." And like something about that line is so melancholic, not like full of despair or hopeless or even like sad necessarily, but it's like looking back, like going to a more lighthearted thing. The next video I have to talk about is "I'm Made of Wax, Larry. What are you made out of?" Which is just a day I remember playing kickball against a bunch of kids. I love how lighthearted and fun, yet still self-aware, serious it is. Like that video and All Signs Point to Lauderdale. In the comments of both of those YouTube videos, you will see people say like, "Don't mess with a kid who's in high school and has a full beard." Like Jeremy does not look like he's 12 years old, kind of thing, or in high school. And I like stuff like that. And then I don't remember who the guest vocalist is on that song, the Screamer, but he plays the umpire. And at one point, him and Jeremy get into a match, like yelling with the coach. I think it's good, lighthearted fun, and it's It's a silly video.
I saw the music video for Have Faith in Me, and that one's a little bit more like you're outgrowing things, people that you once knew sort of deal. So that one was a little more serious. And then I think the next one I saw was All Signs Point to Lauderdale, and the part where like, doesn't he like pee on a sandwich, or he pees on something of the
band
bowling.
Does, yeah. They get like one of the sandwiches and then one of their drinks, and they all piss into them. Yeah.
And that was the next one I watched, and I'm just like, oh man, that was a complete 180. And for a band to do that and do it well for like their fan base is just so much fun to watch.
And it almost, I don't want to say it doesn't match the song, because the song is about reasons why you aren't happy with where you grew up and stuff. But it's the song is very serious, and the music video is lighthearted, which is a kind of a juxtaposition they're pretty good at, actually. I should also say in the Wax Larry video, they're actually playing against like 12 and 13-year-olds.
Yeah, they're actual kids.
These men who are in their early to mid 20s. Except for their drummer, who might still be in his teens at that point. They're playing against little kids in the kickball game.
I wonder if they actually, after filming the music video, really did play a game of kickball with those kids.
That'd be cool.
Like, that'd be so cool to see, one, and two, like, those kids probably had a field day.
Yeah, I mean, and
they probably didn't know why, but...
And you knew that they were there all day because because that's another song that's performance and narrative. The narrative takes place in daytime, but the performance is on the kickball field at night with like the floodlights on. So, I mean, chances are they had some time to kill, gave the kids food, and played a game of kickball with them.
Point out, so another Halsey one. Sorry, guys.
So
this one is Halsey and Youngblood's 11 Minutes.
Oh, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
No, not the video. We talked about the song. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the music video. It's a very long storyline because it goes through like Halsey and Youngblood were in this relationship. She gets in a car accident and he gets the call and he's like so stuck in despair that he's like running to go to this accident that happened like 11 minutes because name of the song. But the whole song is...
It happened 11 minutes,
11 minutes away.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. I totally misheard
the accident.
You. Okay.
That's why they're like, I'm 11 minutes away. I'm 11 minutes from you. So, like, why aren't you home yet? Sort of deal.
Oh boy. Okay.
And so the whole song itself is like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where the whole song itself talks about it, where it's kind of a play on words, where she is like talking to him from the other side. The whole music video is 5 stages of grief. And it's watching Youngblood go through all these 5 stages of grief. And it's all like really well set up for each one. You kind of are watching him just malfunction and spiral and try and deal with the fact that she's gone. And then at the end when you get to acceptance, it's really cute, even though it's sad, because he kind of comes to terms with she's not here anymore, but I have all these memories. And
Is he going through Dabda as on his way to her, or does he get there then go through the 5 stages?
It starts where he wakes up, he gets the call, and he just books it out. So the first one, he gets up, runs out the door, timer's like counting down 11 minutes every time, and as soon as it gets to 0, he wakes up and he's in another stage. So then it's like he gets the call again and he like runs out the door. I think angered, he like gets up, just realizes what happened and that he couldn't save her and then he couldn't help her, and he starts just trashing everything and like slams the door and is like pushing people out of his way to try and get to her. But he still isn't on time. So he wakes up and it's like another stage. He's back in his apartment. He wakes up. He like gets the call. And I think depression was the only one where he doesn't go to her. It kind of opens up and he's like at this bar. He's just kind of sitting there with his like head in his hands, just like defeated. Like he can't help her. He can't save her. He's mad at himself. He's sad at the fact that he can't see her. Yeah. And then
what was bargaining?
Bargaining, he goes up, he runs into a group of nuns. He turns the corner and he slams into the nuns. And, like, he's trying to, like, you know, I need to help her, you need to help me help her, like, help me, like, get to her. But they're, like, trying to, like, calm him down. And as they're calming him down, he's looking at his watch, and his watch goes back to 0, and he just, like, freaks out. And then he's up again.
Okay. And then acceptance was a...
Yeah, he wakes up and he kind of looks around, and it's like he's reliving the moments in his apartment with her, and like when they used to go out, like the bar that he was drinking at. So it's a super cool kind of look into how people deal with grief and stuff like that, and how one thing can kind of have this chain event that happens after.
Do you have any happy music videos to talk about?
Let's see. No. Oh, Nihilist Blues isn't really that happy.
Because like I have one my next one's not gonna be a happy one either. But the other ones I can talk about.
I'd say one that I like that really doesn't have any storyline or substance to it. Most of Black Bear is kind of like that.
Black Bear the rapper?
Mm-hmm. But one of my friends showed me Wanderlust, and so I looked up the music video for it, and it's such a cool music video. But Wanderlust is, I think, the first one that I didn't really see him at, so I didn't know what he looked like still. But it's just this guy and this girl, like, really pretty Instagram model style girl, just going around Egypt. But yeah, so it's a really fun sort of music video. It's really fun to watch, especially right now, because I wanted to be in Europe by now.
Yeah.
Still has not happened. So getting to watch cool, very well put together, very beautifully done music videos, especially Black Bear's Wanderlust, which is a great song. It's just a nice kind of kickback sort of music video.
The only two songs by him that I really know are Wanderlust and Do Re Mi.
Oh, and then Me and Your Ghost. He's getting 80s vibey. I don't know. I can just see like a neon sign to it almost, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, no.
Like a broken heart neon sign sort of deal. Like, okay. That's kind of the whole vibe of the song, but it's super good.
On the topic of being in one space, Raleigh Ritchie's song Stay Inside from his 2016 album.
Oh, I feel attacked.
Okay, I hadn't even considered that when I chose this song to talk about.
I feel attacked.
But his song is... so the song Stay Inside is... I don't think he's ever officially confirmed anything, but it definitely has a depression, anxiety feel to it. It's when the underdogs rise again, I'll have my time. When my body starts turning in, I'll have my mind, kind of thing. Like he's saying, like when all of this is done, I'll be able to go and take on the world. But for now, I'm just going to stay inside. But which you would think would be like a song about waiting and about potential, but it's actually more about he's lying to himself. He's kidding himself. Like, you're never going to go out and do it. You're way too scared to go out there and do it. You're just feeding yourself this kind of delusion. But the music video, it takes place in one room. It isn't a performance piece because he's the only character. Jacob Anderson, Raleigh Ritchie. He's the only character, but he never really sings or like performs or ever looks at the camera and does a thing. It's him in this dusty old room surrounded by a bunch of toys. He has like some like dolls and mannequins, much to my chagrin. He kind of like you get the feel that he's using these in place of friends and human contact, kind of thing. Like he doesn't leave this room really. Then at the music video ends where he makes one of those contraptions where it's like a stick across his back, and then he has dummies, like fake homemade bodies of people. Like there's like 4 people beside him on a string. When he moves his arm, they move their arm, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And like he tries to leave the room. He tries to take these guys with him and leave the room, but he can't get out. He can't carry them with him, kind of thing. So he just kind of gives up, puts him down, just sits back down in his chair and doesn't leave. He stays inside. He tries to kid himself with where he's at, and he just doesn't get there.
I feel like that's kind of like a heavy metaphor, though, too. Like having those extra baggage around, or those extra bodies.
It's and it actually is pretty appropriate. So because the album is called, there's also a track called "You're a Man Now, Boy." It's a song about not feeling. The song is about not feeling good enough to grow up, kind of thing. Like he's older now, but he doesn't really feel that much difference. He still feels like a kid who doesn't know what's going on.
Same.
And a lot of the album, it's by no means a concept album, but you could definitely tie in a lot of songs to those themes. Mm-hmm. And the thing that makes the album sad is that "Stay Inside" is the last track on the album. Aww. So it's I don't know, like it almost has a defeatist ending to it. But there are happy songs on the album too, so I don't know what to make of that.
Take it as you will.
I want to talk about a video that I assume you'll know because it's a very unique kind of situation. The Wonder Years, The Living Room song.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know if I've actually seen the music video for it.
So I saw the music video. It was I had just started listening to, years ago, I just started listening to The Greatest Generation, that album. And then on YouTube, in the suggested video feed, it had the Living Room song. Like, okay, I'll listen to it. And the video is kind of live. Like, it's one camera in a corner. Soupy comes up, sits down on the corner table, and sings right to the camera. There's a guy in the background on one like an L-shaped couch, kind of, or like I guess a partial U-shaped couch, big old thing.
Big old thing.
Playing guitar, I believe, and then in the background, behind the singer, people begin coming in. They bring pizza. People are just hanging out in the living room. It's just one static shot of Dan just singing the song to the camera. There are people in the background doing stuff, and then at the very end of the song, the people in the room sing along with him. But it's not the studio recording. It's an actual, like that camera. It's just the sound picked up from that camera kind of thing. So when I tried to find the song on iTunes, I couldn't find one that was from the video because the studio recording was different than the track they played in the video. And then there was also there's like a third version of the song out there, or whatever. Lyrically the same thing, just a different tone in his voice. Like in the music video, Dan's voice is higher than the actual, or lower than the actual recording kind of thing. It was weird. But it was I considered a unique video, not inherently remarkable or like mind-blowing and changing the game, but it's a performance piece that the performance itself is part of the narrative, where he's just hanging out in a room with his friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was a unique spin, and having the actual friends in the video sing along, because I assume some of the friends were also the band members, plus a few extras thrown in there, were actually singing along with it, and I thought that was really cool. The last big one I wanted to talk about was Ronnie Radke's quadrilogy, his singles that was released.
Ronnie Radke.
He released 4 singles. I want to say between 2018 and 2019. Maybe one of them came out in 2020. I don't remember. But a quadrilogy of sorts: Losing My Mind, Losing My Life, Drugs, and Popular Monster.
Oh, I know Popular Monster.
Yeah, that's actually the end of the story. These 4 songs, they're all thematically the same. They're about Ronnie saying, yeah, I have a controversial past, but fuck you, I'm still a rock star. I'm still cool and I'm still kicking it. And I'm like, okay, Ronnie, that's nice. Okay. The music videos themselves are a saga. Like, it's one ends and the other one picks it up kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And at first it doesn't feel that way, because Losing My Mind, the first one, it's just a performance piece. Just them playing in a very, very cool looking room, actually. Think of like from the Dark Knight, where Bruce and Alfred have their conversation of some men just want to watch the world burn. Like, big room. It's like the white light on top and whatever. And it's cool. But then at the very end, at one point he dies or something and is like ascending into heaven kind of thing. But then that comes into play in the next video.
To assume.
Yeah, right? Then Losing My Life, the next video, begins with him talking to a hooded figure. You'll never guess what, but at the end of the video, the hooded figure is another him. Ronnie found a way to work 2 of himself into a music video. But it's just about, and that song's about.
I wish I loved myself as much as Ronnie Radke loves himself.
I wish my self-esteem could be as high as Ronnie Radke's. But it's about then Losing My Life is about him losing control of this perspective of the way the public views him, kind of thing, or whatever. But then at the end, the hooded him kills the non-hooded him.
Wait, did he work in a Kermit the Frog meme into his, like...
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Do it anyway. Yeah, no, that's kind of what it is. If I'm not mistaken, the regular him has his black hair, but the hooded him is revealed to be him with blonde hair, or something like... If I'm not mistaken. Something like that. Then Drugs carries it on, they're playing in like a warehouse, and that's more just performance piece. But then the building gets even more destroyed, and then that segues into Popular Monster kind of thing. And I thought it was pretty cool having a series of videos. I know other artists have done storylines with their music videos.
Yeah. I mean, Asking Alexandria, they came out with Into the Fire, which was like a saga part with Alone in a Room, and I think one other song where it kind of tells like this story between like good Danny and bad Danny, where you have like this kind of like crazed clone versus like, you know, the more, like, sane, sensible side. So it's like, you know, the proper, you have two wolves inside of you sort of deal. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, like, Sin City feel to it, where it has the black and white and, like, very, very toned down colors. So everything's, like, on a grayscale.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even have this written down, but something I want to talk about is 30 Seconds to Mars. So they had their first album, their self-titled album. Does anybody remember that? No one talks about 30 Seconds to Mars' first album. Everyone talks about A Beautiful Lie when that came out, because that had songs like The Kill, From Yesterday. That was their first big one that got them started. And I believe it was with that album. If not, it was with their next album, This Is War. I believe it was with A Beautiful Lie. Jared Leto, the lead singer, he just began taking it upon himself to make the music videos. Every single video you'll see is directed by Bartholomew Cubbins, which is, I think, a character from Stephen King books or something like that. But it's just a fake name Jared goes under. So things like, I believe The Kill is directed by him, but then going to the next album, This Is War, Kings and Queens.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Technically Closer to the Edge, but that's more of just a tour video kind of thing. And then Hurricane, which he really wanted to, I've watched the behind the scenes, he wanted to personify sex. Hurricane's a weird-ass video.
Yeah.
This Is War is really cool, but Hurricane's weird.
Hurricane is like a 50 Shades of Grey, and like Pornhub tried to make a music video together, and like 50 Shades is like, look, we need to like keep this kind of classy and a little like vanilla, and Pornhub is like, sweetie.
And Pornhub just like puts on the dildos, okay.
Like, yeah, it's a very weird,
Very
sort
racy.
of uncomfortable.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
It's not really racy as it is like uncomfortable when you're just kind of like.
There are a lot of pasties.
There's a lot of paste. There's a lot of leather.
A lot of leather, yeah.
For not as many clothes, a lot of leather.
Yeah. But yeah, so all that's Jared Leto. He just makes the band's videos. He also made the band's documentary. I don't remember what it's called, but you'll see it's directed by Bartholomew Cubbins, but that just means Jared did it.
I'm just gonna quick throw in like kind of like honorable mentions. Bring Me the Horizons, Nihilist Blues. Always fun to watch. It's really trippy. It kind of has like electro, like, you know how the old Sony screens were? You'd have the black and white lines in it.
Oh, yeah. You have the scan
signal.
lines, yeah.
Yeah. The whole video set up with just using those sort of lines to like map out figures, and the rest of it's all black. It does have like that trippy electro feel to it, but it's really good at still trying to tell like a dissociative like storyline to it, which fits for Nihilist Blues.
Okay.
Otherwise, too, I just want to like point out, because I know we've talked a lot about Chainsmokers in a few of their music videos, like Roses and Kanye. But all of their music videos, regardless of what you think about them, a lot of them are just so well put together, and the storyline to a lot of them are a lot deeper than maybe the song would kind of lead on to.
Would imply.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they do have fun songs like Waterbed, where it's like, he straps a GoPro to a dog's head so that he can go to this party. And, of course, from a dog's point of view, everything looks a little racier. But it's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully they weren't wearing skirts.
But it's funny. And this feeling with Kelsey Ballerini and kind of having that emotional pull to it, or like the nostalgic pull with Closer and This Is All We Know. They're very good at making storylines that fit maybe not the song, but like the feeling behind the song.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And also, speaking of MTV, the first music video that I can remember seeing on MTV wasn't the Nickelback one. It was Linkin Park's Numb.
That's a sad song.
That is a sad song and such a sad music video. And, like...
The music video made me realize how sad the song is. I've become so numb. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
This is a song... like, that's... I interrupted you. You finished talking.
But I mean, and it's that kind of music video that no matter who you talk to it, everybody sort of resonates with it. And I don't know if it's just because that's how Linkin Park has grown to be for a lot of people. That song and that music video were really well put together.
I like the aesthetic. Can't believe I'm saying that. I like the aesthetic of them being in a church.
Yeah.
They're singing it and stuff. And the fact that it's an empty, gray church. Like, oh, that's just... Oh, because, you know, like, there's the whole "my body's a temple" thing, but the song is about being so beaten down by life that you're numb, you don't feel anything, so this church is abandoned and empty. Like, the body feels abandoned. It's, the symbolism is so good.
Even though, at the end, like, when she runs into that church, like, there's sort of that hopeful feeling to it, where she, like, kind of looks and she sees how, like, dilapidated the church is and how, like, empty it is, and she kind of just sits there and, like, it's not that she missed these guys in it, she missed the band, but, like, she has an opportunity now, almost. So it depends how you look at it. Some people can look at it and be like, she missed the band, she missed her opportunity.
That's how I saw it. Like there was something she could go to and she missed it. That's how I thought.
I was thinking of it more like she has an opportunity to do her thing with it now, because it shows throughout it that she's an artist.
Yeah.
So I always thought like she was gonna like not more or less graffiti it, but like she has the space now. That's her space. So it's kind of like that opportunity of she can do something with it.
Okay.
And also, one more thing. So when I had an MP3, and it was the first one that had the screen, Best Buy downloaded like things they thought I'd like. It must have just been sponsored stuff.
Okay.
But one of the sponsored things was Flyleafs All Around Me.
That's a very interesting music video.
Yeah, it's about the lead singer, Lacey, finding faith and believing in God and like having this sort of religious stance, but also too like you can kind of look at it in a lot of different ways. The paint dripping down the walls,
paint thing, yeah.
Like that's my favorite. That's my takeaway from it. That's what I remember most, no matter what, is her and this band, like in gray and white clothes, playing in this paint that's just dripping down the walls, and it's all like collecting and turning colors, and it was just a really cool like I want to do that sort of moment.
The music video, so I went through a play-by-play I could give you about when I first watched the video, because I'd heard the song once before in like my brother's car or something like that, and I went to go look up the video, and at first I was like, oh, this emo band, I thought the song was about like drugs, like being a drug addict kind of thing, but then when the paint started coming on, I'm like, oh god, they're falling apart, but then it's a colorful paint, isn't it? It's like different colors, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it is supposed to be a happier song. Looked it up, discovered it was about her finding God again or something like that.
Yeah. I always thought it was her losing, like, she lost a loved one and she's, like, finally saying goodbye sort of deal. Because she's like, the angels are here telling me I'm alone with you sort of deal. And it's like that moment of, you get that sort of goodbye. I mean, that's what I took out of it for being, like, 12 when I heard it or something like that. And I was like, oh, she's, like, these angels are giving her the ability to say goodbye to a loved one. And so that's kind of how I took it. But then when I found out later that it was about her, like, finding God and that God is supporting her or something, like, it makes sense.
Then you realize the lyrics are pretty on the nose. There isn't much metaphor there. She's literally talking about stuff.
Yeah. So, but it was just a really cool music video because it was, like, one of the first ones that I, like, got to own, quote unquote.
Okay.
So, yeah. And playing around in paint, like, that's just so cool. Like, they're just coded in it by the end, like, all of them, and their instruments, and it was just like, that looked like it had like almost a storyline to it where it was abstract, but they were performing sort of deal. But yeah, it's always interesting to see.
Breathe Carolina did paint in their first music video for Diamonds. They did, as the song goes on, it's black and white video, like not just dressed that way. It's edited black and white, but then they start throwing paint that the two guys in the paint's in color or whatever.
Ooh.
Other honorable mentions. I'm not even going to talk about specific videos because as much as I love Angels and Airwaves, none of their music videos are particularly remarkable. Like Rebel Girl was pretty good, I guess. Secret Crowds was kind of good. Everything's Magic was the first time I ever saw two girls kiss, so that was pretty cool. But other than that, there's nothing remarkable about their music videos.
So that was pretty cool.
But just in general, two artists I do want to mention, and we don't have to go into specifics or anything because there's going to be a bunch of examples. But Taylor Swift. She's always had pretty decent videos. The only one I didn't really care about was Bad Blood. That's because I don't like Bad Blood as a song. I just think it feels very forced. And then Pink. Pink also has a lot of really good videos.
Oh, Who Knew hits me like right in the feels every time.
Yeah. So I was going to finish this up by talking about like music videos that were kind of, in my opinion, wasted potential for what the song was. But we are already at a very long run time. So wanted to save that for a future music video episode.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of figured we'd probably do this in installments too, because between our aesthetics and the music videos we follow, and then if people post and tell us to watch music videos, we can be like, hey, this is an interesting one we saw, so if you guys have any good ones that you want to show us and see what we say, or just want it to be honorably mentioned.
And we've also in this episode didn't really talk much. I mean, you mentioned you had a few examples, but we didn't talk much about like hip hop and the rap scene and stuff. Because like there are definitely good examples, even from modern stuff like Juice WRLD or something like that, to older stuff like NWA and even just Ice Cube when he was solo and stuff like that. So this is a drop of the entire well that we
the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. But yeah, so thank you all very, very much for listening. We're given the quarantine, we'll probably have a bit of a staggered recording schedule, because like we are when we're recording this, not even, I think episode 2 just went up, so we still aren't even in the backlog of episodes. So maybe in the future, in order to keep us relatively up to date with stuff, we might record more regularly if we can find time in our busy schedules. But for now, things will be a bit spaced out, and you might think, Danny talked about that album coming out on May 25th. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. What was he talking about future? That's just going to be why, because
Yeah, we're going to have a few delays, but hopefully as we get more scheduled out and a lot of the quarantine kind of starts to open back up and allow people to come out more.
And our schedules can get more regular.
That we'll be able to do this at a more regular pace, so there won't be such a delay in what we say versus when it actually happens.
Yeah. Especially if we want to start doing episodes where we cover like live concerts and stuff.
Yeah. But other than that, if you're not already a fan of us on Facebook, go ahead and give us a like so you get updates on episodes, what we do, when stuff is posted. And also feel free to comment so we can see what you guys are saying. We love the critiques. We do listen to them. We've been more conscious with what you've been saying. So thank you everybody who's listened already.
Yeah, we're also on Instagram, but that'll probably get used more once we go to shows.
Yeah, once we're able to.
To actually have like relevant pictures and things to talk about.
Otherwise, if you just want to see me post old concert photos that I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
And yeah, so I believe most people listen to it on Anchor, but we are also on Spotify and on a few other platforms like Breaker, and we're on Google Podcasts. Not on Apple yet, but we're slowly getting there. We're slowly getting there. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.